Hello, everybody. This is Larry Hernandez, and welcome to the sixth of our weekly recruiting prompts. And actually, we're going to step it up. Last week, we talked about OpenAI making giving us the ability to make custom GPTs, or I call them chatbots. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to create a personalized chatbot or GPT that is an expert on your background and your bio. So we're gonna load your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, and we're gonna have a bot that is an expert on you. And I think what the future is gonna be is you're gonna build these out and you're gonna share them to recruiters or hiring managers, and it's gonna kind of bypass the phone screen or at least the screen. And so I want you to get in the mindset of when you have an AI or a GPT generative AI tool, you're really having a conversation with a body of knowledge. You're not just chatting with AI. AI is nothing. There is nothing to chat with AI about. AI is your translator between you, the user, and a body of knowledge, right? So we're gonna do this. I think eventually, if this gets your juices flowing, you would create one of these, and maybe I can do that next week. Create a job GPT, and that's when you would load the job description, the interview process, a little bit about the team's LinkedIn profiles, kind of an FAQ to where you could privately share to candidates instead of here's a job description. So keep that in mind. So we should be able to do this in a few steps. First step is you're going to get your resume and you're going to make sure that you're not sharing any personal information. So other than your name, your LinkedIn profile, and maybe the region, I would not share anything else on your resume unless you're actually, um, maybe on your second interview. You don't want this public. So you have your resume, you have your cover letter. And by the way, I used an AI tool to build out the cover letter. And this next section, which is the most important section, is a Q&A document. When you're training a bot or an AI tool, it helps to give it examples of questions and answers. So I used a GPT tool or an AI tool, and I just said, hey, generate a list of questions and answers in a Q&A format that recruiters would typically ask somebody, right? And then you just double check it. I moved kind of fast for this video, but that's a good exercise, by the way. It's kind of like interview prep. So I've got that document, a cover letter, my resume, and I went ahead and just here, let me get rid of that. I went ahead and just got my LinkedIn profile and did the save to a PDF, and I put them all in one file just for organizational purposes. So that's step one. Gather all the documents. If you had a blog post, if you had a portfolio, you could just get the website or the web pages, and that's just as good as a document. So we've gathered all of our necessary information. Now we need a prompt or instructions to train our bot. Luckily, I have built one for us. And so you can just, it has my name, but I'm going to copy this. Okay. And I'm going to include this. This is going to be the prompt for this week. And then I can also include the prompt because I told you I made a Q&A from my LinkedIn profile. So I gave you that. And here's just instructions on how I built a cover letter from my resume. Okay, so we get this prompt. That's the second step. And if you were doing it on your own, it would take a while. Hopefully this gets you ramped up quicker. And now we're going to run over to ChatGPT. Now, what sucks is this is the third time me trying to make this video. And so that's the way it goes. I had some technical difficulties, but you're going to go to GPT. You're going to hit Explore, and you're going to create a new GPT. There are two tabs you really need to work with here. Create, which is you talking to ChatGPT, and it's going to help you create a bot. And then there's a configuration, a little more technical, but you're going to see in a second why this is helpful. Okay, so I took the prompt that I shared with you and I paste it and hit go. So you'll see this working. The little purple wrench will work, and this is just, it's taking in what you're telling it. And this is a good time to look at this. So I want you to review the materials, carefully examine Larry's resume, his profile, and Q&A docs. These docs contain crucial information about my professional journey and skills and achievements. Stay in character. Throughout this interaction, maintain the persona of an expert familiar with Larry's experience. Your responses should reflect a deep understanding of his career. Answer the questions, keep your responses focused on professional qualifications, because what you don't want is, and it's going to happen, some kids or someone messing around and asking personal questions and crazy questions to your GPT. So we're telling them, hey, stay in character. If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know the answer, okay? Yeah, so now it says, okay. And for some reason, the GPT really wants you to name it and really wants you to put a logo in there. So it came up with a name. I'm gonna hit yes. And this is the third time me doing this, and each time it comes up with a different name. Great. Now it's gonna use ChatGPT's other tool, Dolly, and it's gonna create a little image based on what I've shared with it. Big deal. It's a suitcase. Okay. Yes, that's fine. And all this can be changed later. So don't sweat the details here. Okay. It says, okay, what information and responses should we prioritize? Now we're going to stop here. We're going to go to configure. And as you can see, the instructions that I shared with it, all this stuff has been kind of filled out. It's got some cool conversation starters, because sometimes when you go to a bot or a GPT, it's just sitting there like, I don't know. So you can see that it's created these conversation starters. You could add another one, or you could change these. And this is how it'll look on the right side. So that way it kind of, gets the conversation going. Now, very important. Hopefully I'm going to zoom in on this part. Upload files, right? So this is where you're going to share the information that your GPT is going to learn. And like I said earlier, I've put the 4 documents in a folder. It could be anywhere, but I'm going to get these and I'm going to hit open. And as you can see now in pink, GPT is taking this in and learning from it. So when all these fancy articles and everyone in these meetings you're going to hear, probably for the next 2 or 3 years, we train our GPT. We have a specialized trained GPT, a custom training. Right now, we're training a GPT. Okay. The GPT is just the framework, right? It's the infrastructure, right? But it doesn't know anything yet. So by training it, we've just shared some important documents. I will say the best practice of training so far that I've learned is to make a Q&A document, and then in your prompt to really tell it to stay in character. And if you don't know, don't answer. Okay. So this is uploaded. I'm going to go to save in the top right. I got to move my face there. Oops, I made it public. I don't want to make it public. So I hit save. It gives you 3 examples. Only me, which you're probably going to do that while you're playing around. Then you can just have it, anyone with a link. I imagine putting this on your resume or maybe on your LinkedIn profile. Maybe you want to keep it a little bit more private and only share it with recruiters. So if I see this happening, if someone on LinkedIn says, hey, are you interested in being the new CEO of Google? I would say yes. Well, share your resume. You know what? I'm just going to share this link with you, and you could have a conversation with it. If you're interested, we can move forward. And I have in my Q&A document, I did add, because I'm learning too. So I added somewhere, hey, if they want to get in touch with me, here's my LinkedIn recruiter, my LinkedIn profile, and somewhere I put, here's my Calendly, right? So they can book a time with me. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we have this we have our little personal profile expert. And you can always find your GPTs here on the left side. And so let's try it. Let's use one of the prompts to save me time from typing. Can you detail Larry's role at his last job? That's kind of a funny way. But okay, so right now, this is the magic. We talk about AI and chat GPT and all these tools, but what can it do for you? Well, we just trained it on your information. And now, me as a user, I'm having a conversation with you. So I'm going to hit stop. You can always hit stop. And let's say here, how many years of experience does Larry have? And it's going to be a little slow. This is a new product. It's only been out for a week. We just trained it. So give it a little time. There it goes. It has 25 years. And there's the answer. Okay. Now, I'm thinking as a sourcer and a recruiter myself, what's one of the first questions we ask for? That's a question that we commonly ask in different formats, right? So, yes, I am legally eligible to work in the United States. I'm a U.S. citizen. How does GPT know this? Because going back to the Q&A, when I was filling out an application last night, I just kind of made note of all the major questions. And we know the questions, we're recruiters. Preferred location, compensation requirements, highest level of education. So just put all those in your Q&A doc, and then your GPT will know how to answer. Okay. I'm going to ask it one more question just to see if it's working. Okay. And this is me testing out the GPT. And the reason I'm doing this while it's thinking is because I have another bot software. So before ChatGPT came out with GPTs, I went in and bought this thing, which is just it's creating my GPTs, right? It's called Chatbase, and I've got settings, and I can say, I uploaded my documents, the same 4 documents. You can also load websites, texts, Q&A documents, and connect it to a Notion notebook. And so this bot would be an expert on your Notion notebook. The cool thing about Chatbase, and I know I'm getting off base here, but I want to show you something very important, is I can see all the conversations that other people have had, which has only been me. And I can see how my bot answered. And you can tell it, revise the answer. So now this would be called tuning, right? So we learned about training, but you're going to hear about we need to tune your GPT. And as you can see here, it said I worked for XYZ and ABC. So obviously, I guess we can call that a hallucination. It's just made up. I don't have that on my resume. It made it up. So I needed to retrain it and tune it. Okay. But I'm impressed because I've been working on this for several hours and I'm not quite happy with it. The only thing I like about this is that it can get your email address if you want it to. And you've got analytics and you can get leads. But on the GPT, it kind of got it right away. You saw me, I just trained it. And here it is. Okay, so to wrap this up, we got all of your documentation. Resume, make sure there's nothing, no personal details. Cover letter, we can make that with AI. Your Q&A, we can make the shell within AI. I'm sharing the prompt with you. And then you want to fill it out. And then as you start thinking of new things, just like you update your resume, you're going to update your Q&A, right? Because I'll think about, maybe I should list my skills. Maybe I should list the types of roles. Your mind will start going. You can always just update it and go back to your GPT and switch out the documents and tell it to retrain, and you'll be good in no time. So we've got the documents, we got the prompt, which I'm giving you, and then we made the GPT. And we learned that training You've just basically watched, and now you can train your own AI. And then I briefly talked about tuning if the answers aren't right. Now in GPT, I know I'm going on, but you could hit edit. And here, what I do is either in, it doesn't matter which tab, if something is just really doesn't, that something really bothers you, you could just hit rule number one. And GPT will really focus when you say rule. So it's like rule number one, right? Don't say where I live or whatever it is. Um, that's a good way to tune it and to adjust. So I hope you're excited about this. Once again, I think bots are going to be interviewing bots. You can say you heard it here first. Have a good week. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know. And by the way, I'm available for hire. So hire me. Have a good week.